Hey guys, how you doing? This is JP Saricolia coming to you once again with another episode of Age of Heroes, my podcast. And today I want to discuss, or I want to talk about something that actually happened yesterday. That's something that was on the media. You know, there was a podcast actually from Variety, the magazine, where Kevin Feige was interviewed. In this case, by the people there. In regards to the expectations for Marvel, and of course, now that after this, in this case, the deal that the Fox is doing with Disney, now that Marvel can be go back, in this case, the rights to the characters for Marvel, the ones that have been held by Fox for many years, like the X-Men and the Fantastic Four. So there's an expectation that in the last week of January, they will finally, finalize. They will finally sign the contract, and everything will pass along the purchase, the Fox. And definitely, there's a lot of excitement in the entertainment world in regards to it, and definitely a lot of excitement for the fans all over the world. Comic book fans, Marvel Cinematic Universe fans. Every person, I think, is excited because of the news. So definitely, Feige was interviewed. For those who do not know, if you do not know, I think you need to get up to speed with the news. Kevin Feige has been pretty much the architect of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's been his work. Feige has been involved into the industry for many years. He was actually involved initially with Fox as an assistant producer when the X-Men were kicked off, when everything started with the X-Men back in the 2000s. So he's a veteran of the pretty much of the industry. He was involved with the X-Men and with Fox, and most of that big craze of that time, a lot of those movies, he participated heavily on each of those movies, and he was very important in the development of this series back in those days. The Fantastic Four and all of this stuff with Fox. Of course, until he with Marvel Studios and under pretty much the guidance of Disney, he really build up this universe, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, to what it is. And of course, in the podcast, he is definitely, talking about looking back, and for those who do not know, the podcast is Variety's is Playback podcast, something that you can find in iHeartRadio and other places too. But he was interviewed, and he was just pretty much looking in retrospective about the last 10 years and all the accomplishments for Marvel. But also he was talking about what's to expect and what are his plans and dreams moving forward. Of course, there's always these questions because people are really asking, when are we going to see pretty much X-Men under their banner? When are we going to see the Fantastic Four? How long is it going to take? And of course, we're coming into this season, this time where, of course, that next year we're going to have in April, we have Endgame, which is going to pretty much finalize this phase of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So the question is, what's next? What's happening? And of course, right now in the pipeline, there's 7 movies from Marvel. The Guardians of the Galaxy has been, of course, put on hold for now because there's no director, or they're still looking for plans. And I think, even though he was not really open in the interview about what's next, he's talking about that, he's really, he's really looking forward to start developing something. He mentioned in the interview that he hasn't been given the green light to create or write any material in preparation for what's next, so he's just waiting for that. But he's saying that he foresees that everything goes as planned within the next following 6 months, within the first half of the year, for everything to start going on development. And once they kick off into it, of course, the sky is the limit. What's next? We've been talking about it for a long time. I remember back in a couple of years back, people were saying that this will never happen. But we came to this place now where this is a possibility. And of course, it's amazing, a lot of the fans, I've always been a fan. I've always been a believer. And if you watch some of my previous videos, a couple of years ago when I talk about it, those videos in regards, a lot of people were saying that this will never happen. But, I talk about it. I say, this is going to happen one way or another. Disney, as long as Disney is in the middle, it's going to come to a place where the big powerhouses are going to, everything is going to fit in the right place. Everything's going to fall in the right place. And we can see it now. We can see that everything is falling in the right place and in the right hands. And I think Kevin Feige has proven himself, and it's proven that he has the capacity and the ability and, of course, the backing to do what needs to be done in order to bring these characters in. As a person that loves the X-Men, I'm not going to say that I hate the X-Men by Fox. I remember when they came out, and I was a big fan, and I watched them all, even the Fantastic Four, and I think they served their purpose during that time. But I think we're past that time. Now we are not looking anymore for any cheesiness on it. We're looking for real stories, presented in the light that, that has to do with comics. And I believe that the Marvel Cinematic Universe has been able to touch these characters in a way that it really stays true to their characters. It stays true to their stories and has been able to do it in a way that really entices people and has created this monster, which is the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the MCU. And I think that at this point in time, I believe that the time is coming and we will get to see more. So it's really exciting to see. He said, of course, that there's nothing written yet, but the plans are there. And of course, there's a lot of speculation in regards to what's next, because even though there's a lot of movies in the pipeline, there's 7 movies in production, there's still a lot of unknowns, a lot of unanswered questions about what the future will bring. And I think this is something that has been done. They have decided to do it this way. They haven't really said much about the next phase. And they're holding time. I think they're waiting to see what the development is going to be with the X-Men and, with the Fantastic Four. We know, of course, the last X-Men movie was actually postponed. It was supposed to come out at the end of this year, or I think early next year. They postponed it a couple more months. So we know that there's something in the background. There's a lot of stuff happening, behind the curtains, and there's a lot of things we don't know. And of course, there's a lot of things that has to do with money. It has to do with finalizing the deal. But I believe that that deal is going to be finalized because all the lights point to it. And I believe that probably very soon, sooner than we expect, probably we're going to see more news. I mean, if not by the end of this January, I think by February or March, we will know more. Even before Endgame comes, we'll know more about the next phase. And I think part of it, they're waiting to see what the Endgame is going to be. There's a lot of unknowns about what's going to happen in the film. There's been a lot of speculation over, for quite a while in regards to that we're going to lose some of the characters. Some characters are going to die, are going to be killed off. And some other characters, I don't know if they're going to stay. So there's a lot of speculation that who will live and who will remain. We don't know yet. So, but of course, everybody's expecting, everybody is really waiting, everybody's just really asking the question. But, I think we will get to know more when the movie comes. So, there's a lot to be excited about. I personally think that this is the time. I definitely think that the way things are right now with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I think that, and with Kevin Feige, and pretty much he's been given authority and power to really control this universe and at will, and he's been doing great. And I think that the money's there. I think the capacity is there. I think that they have the resources to do it. And I believe that there's a lot of great actors and also great directors ready to, to just go there, just waiting for the green light. So I don't know. It's exciting to see that. Really, for me, as a person that has grown in comics, as a kid dreaming about these movies, waiting for this to ever happen, really come to this place where you can see all this development and all this unfolding in front of eyes. It's just a dream come true. There's no way to put it. I know for somebody that is younger, in the early 20s or younger than that, to them is now, something that they would say much about it, think much about it. But as a person, in my 40s now, that I have been able to grow with the comics and really always dream about this, dream big, and to think about that one day we'll be able to see something like this is surreal. And, unfortunately, of course, we don't, Stanley is no longer here to really see this, but I believe that as a visionary, he always dreamed about this, dream for this to happen. And I think he was a big part of it. building and believing and trusting, and many decisions that they were made back in the day because of the division of the different franchises into the different studios was something that has to be done then. And, it was a tough decision, I think a tough pill to swallow, but I think Stan Lee was involved in that, and it was all about saving Marvel. To think about a company that went to the brink of disaster, to the brink of bankruptcy, went through bankruptcy, and was able to salvage himself and become what it is now. Yes, as a comic book reader, I know that a lot of things in comics and not as it used to be, but knowing that the cinematic universe has been intrinsical in saving this universe and comic books, it's amazing to think that that's what entertainment is all about. And there's always going to be a separation. It's always going to be. I have great respect for those that love the comics and respect the comics, and I have been comic book readers like myself for years. And I know other people are not like that, and I respect that. But what I'm really grateful is because of the cinematic universe has saved these comic stories for posterity. And I believe that they will continue on. That's the reason why Marvel is still strong today. That's the reason why it continues on. And that's the reason why this has opened the opportunity for other companies and other producers and publishers to actually have the opportunity to produce their own comic book movies, more and more we get to see. And I believe that this is just the beginning of what is to come. We're not going to see only Marvel stuff. We're seeing more DC stuff coming our way, but also we're seeing other companies, producing stuff, and already pumping their stuff with Dark Horse franchises, Image Comics, Valiant. There's so many companies out there that they're pretty much are having the possibilities nowadays, and we have talks about it. We hear talks about it everywhere about the possibilities of characters that are being on the indie comic book world and the possibility for them to see movies very soon. So I believe that this is going to open the door for more and more and more of this, and it all depends also on the quality of the movies. And that's another hope is that, we wouldn't want to see watered down versions, but I believe that the opportunities are there. Movies are proving it. I mentioned in my review of Marvel, the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which has proven that there's also a lot of place and a lot of room for, in this case, for this type of films and, animated films of this category, of this level. So, the possibilities are there, and we're going to see, I think, a development. It will be great to see a new phase where we start looking towards the X-Men within the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but also the Fantastic Four. And why not? Get more other characters like the New Warriors, Alpha Flight. There's so many characters, so many groups and teams that we would like to see movies. And I believe that the possibilities are there to see more of the Galactic Wars, more of those characters, to really see something more about the Inhumans, or something better than the TV show that really failed recently. But to see more in that, within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But what are your thoughts about that? What do you think about this? Are you excited for the news? Are you excited that Kevin Feige is in control of this? What are your expectations? What do you would like to see within the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Besides, the X-Men, we'll love to see that. Oh, besides, the Fantastic Four, is there anything else that you would like to see within the Marvel Cinematic Universe? What is your opinion about this? You think the direction the MCU is going, you think is the right way, or you think they're going too fast into this, or how you would like them to really handle all of this? I would like to hear your thoughts. So, as always, your thoughts and your comments are always welcome. So, please, if you're watching this on YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the notification button so you're reminded of the videos. Please share the podcast with your friends. We're coming to the end of this year. A lot of good things are happening next year for this channel and for my podcast. So stay tuned for all of that, for all the developments and all the news. And I thank you for your support. And, have a great weekend. God bless. I'll talk to you again. Bye-bye.